Started now. So if you just got in the room, we're just going to get started in a comfortable seated position. So a seated position of your choice. All we're going to do is check in, and then we'll get moving since we've only got an hour. So you can close your eyes or just look down at the mat 2 or 3 feet in front of you. And just start to slow your breath as you do a little body scan, starting from the feet up to the ankles, shins and calves, knees, thighs, glutes and hips, core, chest, back and shoulders, working our way down our arms, towards our elbows, our forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, back up towards the neck. Relax the jaw, the cheeks, the area around your eyes, your entire scalp, then ending at the crown of the head, growing out through the crown of the head, sitting up a little bit taller. Keep deepening the breath here, inhaling, filling the lungs, and exhaling, completely emptying the lungs. Let's take 3 more breaths. Inhale. Hold it to the top, taking a little bit more air. And exhale. Through the mouth or nose, personal preference. Keep pushing all the air out. At the bottom, push out even more air. And inhale, same thing. Once the lungs are full, take in 1 more sip of air. And exhale. Push everything out. And at the bottom, push out even more. Last one, inhale. Once the lungs are full, take in 1 more gulp. Exhale. Pushing everything out. Let's roll out the wrists just a little bit here. Rolling them in one direction and then switching it up. Roll up the shoulders, roll them backwards. Roll them forwards. Stay where you are and just turn here. Bring your hands to your knees and just take little seated cat-cows. So we're just rounding through the spine, pushing the upper back, and then pulling the chest through. Inhale, pull forward. You can let the head go if you want. Exhale around. Inhale, forward. Exhale around. Let's make our way to a standing position at the top of our mat. Just checking in. Yeah, you can see me. All right. So we're going to do we're going to do 4 sun salutations, but there's going to be little pieces added in. So we're going to take the first one a little bit slow so that you can see what we're going to do exactly, and then we'll pick up the pace a little bit. So everyone standing, toes together, slight gap between the heels, or if it's more comfortable, feet can be hip distance apart. Let's just quickly make sure we're starting with a strong foundation, so we're standing up tall. Again, just do a little body scan, working all the way up. And then again, we're reaching out through the crown of the head. Arms down by the side, palms face forward. Let's inhale, arms up. You can look between the hands if it feels good. If you've been sitting so for all morning, maybe push your hips forward just to open up a little bit in there. Squeeze the glutes as you do so. Exhale with a strong engaged core, folding all the way forward. Trying to rip the mat apart with your feet. Trying to bring rib cage to thighs, so bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, half lift. Let's keep our palms on the mat for this. Gripping through the fingers so there's no gap between our hands and the mat. Stepping back into a high plank. So this is where we're going to change it a little bit. We're going to do this first one gentle. Lower to the knees. Hug the elbows back behind you. So when you bend your elbows, they skim the sides of your body and then push back up. Staying on the knee. I'll come to this side first. So I'm down on my right knee. On my right hand, left hand comes up for a little side plank. Come back through. This time we're gonna shift back from our knees until our forearms come in contact with the mat, and then slide forwards. You can see when I get to a certain point, my forearms lift up, my feet also kind of lift up too because it makes them more comfortable. And we're gonna come all the way through just to a nice gentle upward facing dog. You don't have to fully extend your arms. Exhale, come through your knees, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Set your feet up. And let's take 2 rounds of breath here in our first downward facing dog. Inhale. Push the mat away from you, shrugging through the shoulders. Exhale. Let the heels melt a little bit closer towards the mat. It's totally fine if your knees are bent. Inhale. Push the mat away. Exhale. Let the heels melt down. Now we're going to get to the top of the mat a little bit differently. If you're really not feeling up for much, you can just kind of gently tiptoe or walk your way to the top of the mat. If you want a little bit of challenge, let's step forward on the right foot, left leg picks up, and all we're going to do is try to jump this bottom foot to the mat. So it might look like this, and you can use this top leg to kind of as momentum. What we're eventually working towards after we step this foot in is maybe coming up a little bit higher and stepping that foot forward. Bring the left foot down, hold forward. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. So that's what our sun salutations are going to look like. So I'll try not to talk as much through these next 3. And for the side plank, we're going to do the other side. So my back will be to you for this one, and we'll just alternate back and forth. Let's go for it. Inhale, arms up. Take a little back bend if you want. Exhale, fold forward. Ribcage to thighs. Inhale, half lift. Palms are planted. Exhale. Step back. Let's do it from our knees again. Shift a little bit forward, and then we're doing our little push up here. Keeping the knees down. On the left hand this time, right arm reaches up. Side plank. Come back through. Bring the hips back into a pseudo child's resting pose. Coming all the way forward to a gentle upward facing dog. Exhale, come through the knees, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Inhale, shrug the shoulders. Exhale, melt the heels down. Inhale. Exhale. This time, step the left foot a little bit forward. Right leg comes up. Again, maybe it's just tiny little hops you're taking, or maybe you can get a little bit of a bigger hop. Setting the feet forward, fold. Exhaling. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands come through the heart center. Again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back. Maybe this time you do it from high plank. Shift the weight forward first. Push up. Bring the weight onto the right hand. Side plank. Bring your gaze, you're just past that left thumb. Come back through, lower to the knees. Bring the hips back, forearms down, shift forward. Upward facing dog. Exhale, come back on the knees. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog, 2 breaths. Left foot steps forward, right leg comes up. Take a little jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Last one, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back, high plank. Maybe lower to your knees. Wherever you are, you shift forward first. Take a little push up, elbows skim the sides of the body. Side plank. Again, still the option to lower the knee if that feels better. Bring the gaze past the right thumb. Lower it down, lower to the knees. Hips back as you untuck the toes, forearms come down. Pull through, upward facing dog. Exhale, coming through the knees, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. You're always welcome to take a child's resting pose whenever you might need one. And just a little cue, if you find your heels are really far away from the mat, instead of thinking about the hamstrings opening up, you can work on flexing through the feet. Try to lift your toes up off the mat. That's going to engage the front line of the legs here, which naturally helps open up the back side of the legs a little bit more. So just if you find yourself getting frustrated with it, just switch up how you think about it. Let's step the left leg partially forward, part of the way forward. Right leg comes up. Take a bunch of little kicks or a slightly bigger kick. Top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale. All the way up. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. So from the top of the mat here, we're going to turn to face the bottom of the mat. We're going to do a little balancing series here. So starting with our left foot grounded on the mat, I'm just going to shift my mat a little bit away from the wall. So grounding down through the left leg. If our balance is off and all we can muster today is picking up this foot, then this is your balancing sequence as we make our way down our mat, and that's fine. If your balance feels okay and you can bring your heel to your bum, do a couple of those. You should feel your hamstring, your glute working. Just getting a little bit of strength there. You can flex through the foot if that feels good too. Just taking these little pulses. Slower than you want to. Squeezing those muscles. After that, bring up this hand like you're holding a tray. Lower the hand without rotating the forearm and grab from the inside of that ankle. Bring your knees as close together as you can to start. And then pull that knee down towards the mat. Flexing through this foot. We're looking for a quad stretch here, so you can pull the heel in a little bit closer to your bum as well. Hold it here. Set your gaze, your drishti somewhere. On the next inhale, bring your left arm to reach up. If it feels good, you can start kicking this right leg back behind you. Once you can't kick up and back anymore, then maybe you start to hinge. Maybe you only hinge a tiny bit. If this is what your dancer's pose looks like, then that is gorgeous. But maybe you're pushing yourself and you're kicking and you're hinging. Set your gaze somewhere so you can remain steady. If you fall out, take a breath and then take all the necessary steps to get back in. If you're still in it, hold it for just a little bit longer. Try to kick up even higher. And then try to slowly come out of it. Taking this right foot and stepping it a quarter of the way up the mat. We're going to pick up the left knee and bring it parallel with the mat. Again, if maybe your toe is down there to catch you, then just keep doing that. Otherwise, thighs parallel, hands are on hips. Option to stay here, or if you want a little bit more, you can hinge forward and interlock all 10 fingers underneath your foot. I kind of pick up my foot to get under it, so if you're the same as me, then bring the foot, oh, I just lost it there, bring the foot so it's in line with the knee. Option to stay here, or if you want more, you can start to straighten this leg, even if it's just a little bit. Check in with the standing leg, make sure it's still straight and strong. Maybe one day getting this lifted leg a little bit straighter. If it's relatively straight, you can pull with the hands to get your torso even closer to the leg. Wherever you are, just try to find some stillness. And then slowly come out of it, step this foot another quarter of the way up, or about halfway up the mat. With the right leg, come to the toe, reaching behind you. We're going to go for some strength balancing here. Bring your left hand to your hip, your right arm in front of you, and we're just going to do little hinges here. So try to get the right leg parallel with the mat. Fingertips can help catch you if you came down a little too fast, but we're just trying to barely touch the mat and then come back up. Touch the toe. We're going to do 5 of these. This is 2. Use that right glute to get the leg even higher, more parallel. 3. Use your toes of your left foot to keep you balanced. 4. Right foot is engaged, pointed or flexed. I'm pointing. 5. Take this right leg, step all the way to technically the bottom of your mat. I'm just going to turn so you guys can see. We're going to ground down through this right foot and get set up for tree pose. So a few options here. Again, if your balance is off, you can have your toes on the mat, heel on the inside of that ankle. Maybe you can pick it up a little bit higher and come to your calf. I recommend avoiding the knee, so either stay below the knee or you can lift the foot up into the thigh. Pushing the thigh into the foot and the foot into the thigh, hugging everything into the midline will help with balance. If you can, bring your hands to your heart center. Anything we do from here is just an option, so you can stay right here or you can interlock all 10 fingers. Extend the palms out in front of you, and then maybe even up overhead, reaching up. 2 breaths here. Slowly release, and we're just going to turn on our mat and work our way up to the other side. So we are going to ground down through our right foot this time. Do dancer's pose on the other side. So again, see how your balance is on this side. Maybe you can bring the heel towards the bum. Take the little pulses if you can. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your palm up like you're holding a tray. Bring the arm down. Grab from the inside of that ankle. Bring the knees as close together as you can to start, and try to pull down with this left knee as you pull the heel in towards your bum, feeling that nice stretch along the left side of that, the front side of this left leg. On the next inhale, bring the right arm up. And then if you want more, again, you can stay exactly where you are, but if you want more, start kicking the leg up and back. Once you can't kick up and back anymore, maybe you introduce a bit of a hinge. And stop wherever your stopping point seems to be. Let your body get acquainted and used to it. And then maybe you go a millimeter deeper. If you fell out, take all the necessary steps to get back in. If you're still in it, amazing work. Hold it a little bit longer. Kick up a little bit higher. And slowly, if you can, come up. Step a quarter of the way up with that left foot. Or right knee comes parallel with the mat, or maybe the toe stays down. Hands come to the hip. If this feels good, stable, this left leg is straight and strong. I know it's hard to see with this, but try not to have a big bend in it. Try not to hyperextend, so we've got a micro bend in the standing leg. If this feels good, you can hinge forward, interlock all 10 fingers, opposite thumb on top this time, so that when that feels more awkward. And then bring that foot down to come in line with the standing leg knee. If you want more, you can start to extend through the right leg. Breathe into it. Maybe coming a little more parallel with the mat. If it calls to you, you can even pull through the arms to get the torso closer to that lifted leg. Try to slowly come out as we step another quarter of the way up. Left toes point behind us, right hand's on the hip, left hand out in front of us. We're taking these little strengthening balances here. Hinging forward, trying to get that back leg parallel with the mat. Point your left toes, reaching for that back wall. Inhale, come up. Exhale, over. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. This is 3. Inhale up. Exhale. 4. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. This is the last one. Inhale up. Bring this left foot just up to the top of the mat. Again, I'm just going to turn. You can stay as you are. Setting up for tree pose. 3 options here. Option 1, option 2, option 3. Wherever you are, hugging everything into the midline, squeezing through the left glute on this side to help stabilize everything even more, and then maybe bringing the hands through to heart center. Pushing the thumbs in towards the chest. Interlocking all 10 fingers again, this time with opposite thumb on top. Switch it up, see which one feels a little more awkward. And then reaching the palms straight ahead, and then maybe even up, overhead, reaching up. Slowly releasing. And we're at the top of the mat again. We're going to do some warriors, side angles, and triangles here. So grounding down, we're going to start with grounding down on the right leg. Pick up the left leg. Start to hinge forward. Your hands can be on your hips. Prayer at heart center, whatever you like. Start to hinge forward, bending through this front leg, reaching the left leg back behind you, and gently setting it down. So we're in a crescent lunge right now. My back heel is up off the mat. Arms coming up. Inhale here, reach the fingertips up. Exhale, sink down a little bit deeper. Knees tracing slightly more towards the baby toe. Let's do that again. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sit down a little bit deeper. Inhale, open up into a warrior 2. So my foot is now flat on the mat. Knife edge is parallel with the bottom of the mat. My gaze is out past the right fingertips. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. If your knee comes a lot past your ankle, then just shift to widen your stance a little bit. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Next inhale, come down onto the forearm, reach the left arm overhead. Inhale. Exhale. If this hip's really popping up, bring it down. While still pulling, trying to isometrically pull the feet in towards one another. So you're just engaging through the insides of the legs there. Come all the way up, straighten this front leg. Heel toe the back foot in just to shorten your stance a little bit. We're setting up for Trikonasana, triangle pose. I like to start by popping this hip out towards that back foot. Reach forward with the front fingers, open the palms. Windmill the arms down, maybe the hands on the thigh, on the shin, down on the foot. If you've got a block, sorry I didn't cue for any prompts, but if you've got a block, you can put your hands on a block or some books as well. Gaze up past the left thumb if it feels good on your neck. If not, pick your drishti point. We want to imagine that our body is between 2 panes of glass. So we're really rounding forward like that and trying to straighten everything up. Stacking left shoulder on top of right, wrist on top of shoulder. Stacking the left hip on top of the right as much as possible. From here, we're going to look down at the mat, bring the left hand down, swivel on the back foot so we're up on the toe now. Plant the left hand down on the inside of that right foot. Actually, let's bring this back foot at a 45-degree angle here. We'll just be a little more stable. Your feet are slightly separated, so if they're aligned, your feet would be on either side of the line. So left hand is planted down firmly, both legs are straight. You're going to bring the right hand to the right hip, twist to look past the right shoulder, and then extend the right arm up, looking past the right thumb for revolved triangle. Slowly bring that hand down. Since we're here, we're going to do a little bit of a pyramid pose. So now we're going to come up on the back toes. It's kind of a modified pyramid, but all we're going to do is melt down over the front leg. So same thing, we're focusing on bringing the rib cage down first, then maybe the chest, then maybe the head. Just avoiding this where we're trying to get our head down and we're rounding too much through the back. Really a nice stretch along the back of this right leg. Come up to a flat back, lower that left heel down so that left foot's at a 45-degree angle. And we're just going to cartwheel the arms all the way up. Turn the right toes in, widen your stance a little bit. We're going to come into a forward fold here. So depending on your hamstring flexibility and whatnot, generally the wider your feet are, the more forward, the easier it is to fold forward. That's what I'm trying to say. So hinging at the hips, keeping the legs straight and strong. Coming all the way down, planting our hands. Let's stay here in this kind of half lifted position. Bring the left hand so it's more centrally beneath you. And then the right arm's going to reach up for another little twist here. Stacking the wrist on top of the shoulder as much as possible. And lower. Right hand replaces the left arm comes up. Stacking everything as much as possible. Slowly lower and fold a little bit deeper. We want like 99% of the weight in the balls of the feet. The heels are barely touching the mat. This is going to help get the hips higher so you can fold even deeper. Looking down at the mat where your gaze goes, your body follows. Once you're at your stopping point, work with your breath. So inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold even if it's just a millimeter. Do that for 3 more breaths. Inhale, come halfway up. Get the legs strong. Bring the hands to the hips and come all the way up. We're going to do that on the other side now. So turn the left toes so they're pointing to the front of the mat. I came up a little too fast, so I'm lightheaded, so let's take a breath here. And then we're going to turn, we'll start in a crescent lunge. So up on the back toes, hips are square to the back of the mat, arms are up. Let's inhale, reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, sink down a little bit deeper. You can widen your stance if you need to. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink down a little bit deeper. Next inhale, let's open up into a warrior 2. Foot is flat, pushing down, through the knife edge of that back foot. Gaze is out past the left fingers. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Exhale, sink down deeper. Keep pulling the legs in towards one another, and you can widen your stance more here as well if you need to. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. If you find you're really reaching forward, try to stack even your rib cage on top of your pelvis. Next inhale, let's come down onto this forearm and reach the right arm overhead. Extended side angle. Sink the hips down a little bit deeper. Reach out through those fingers. And then come all the way up, straightening the front leg as you do so. Heel to the back, foot in to shorten that stance. Getting set up for triangle pose on this side. Pop that right hip out. Reach forward through those left fingers. Open up the palms. Windmill down. Setting this hand wherever it was on the other side or wherever it goes on this side. And reaching the right leg up. Sorry, the right arm up. Looking past that right thumb. From here, we're going to look down at the mat, lower the right hand down, and just rotate this back foot so it's at a 45-degree angle. Feet are staggered. So again, picture that line drawn on your mat. Feet are on either side of the line. Right hand plants down firmly beside that left foot. Left hand comes to the left hip. Look past the left shoulder first, and then maybe you extend the left arm out, trying to stack the wrist on top of the shoulder. Twisting. Breathing. Looking down at the mat, lower that hand. And we'll take a little bit of that modified pyramid. So coming up on the back toes, both legs are still straight, hips are square. So they're kind of open up like this, pull the right hip forward. Maybe you're just staying here, maybe you're melting down over the front leg a little bit. Again, first rib cage to thigh, maybe chest to knee, maybe face closer to shin. Lower the back heel down. Windmill arms all the way up, so they're parallel with the mat. Widen the stance a little bit. We're gonna take another forward fold here. Inhale, reach up and out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold forward. Bring the hands down to the mat between your feet, so your hands and your feet are in one straight line. And again, work with your breath here. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold. 2 more times. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale here. And then big inhale, come all the way up. Hands can be on your hips, sorry. Exhale. Heel toe the feet all the way in. Hip distance. And then we're just gonna step to the top of the mat. Just checking how I'm doing for time. We're about halfway through. So let's work our way down onto the mat. Through a Shavasana. Let's do 2 more of those, not a Shavasana, sun salutation. We're gonna do 2 more of those. So we're gonna do the side plank variation, and then we'll be down on the mat. So let's inhale, arms up, take a little back bend if you want, squeeze through the glutes, reach up through the fingers. Exhale, fold forward, trying to rip the mat apart with your feet. Inhale, half lift, palms are planted. Exhale, stepping back, lower to the knees. If you want more gentle, everyone shift forward, hug the elbows in, push up. Coming onto the right hand, side plank. Again, option to be down on that right knee. Exhale, plant that hand down. Coming to the knees, hips shift back, forearms down. Pull through into an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's step the left foot a little bit forward here. Right leg comes up. Again, maybe you're just taking a bunch of little hops. Maybe you're feeling adventurous and you take a little bit of a bigger hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands come through, heart center, other side. Inhale, arms up, take a little back bend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, plant the palms. Exhale, step flat back, high plank or lower to your knees. Everyone shift forward, chaturanga push up, and then coming onto the left hand for side plank on this side, right arm reaches up. Exhale, plant the palm, come down onto the knees, shift the hips back. Inhale, coming through with the forearms, pulling through, upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. While we're here, let's work a little bit more into the legs. Let's pick up the right leg, bend through the knee, open through the hips. You can stay right here. If you're feeling like more, I'm kind of swiveling on my left leg so that my toes are pointed towards the right side of the mat, my heels more towards the left side of the mat. I'm going to bring my weight more onto the left hand as I shift forward more into a plank position and slowly bring my right foot back behind me. Flip my dog. You can make this as big and exaggerated if you want, or you can omit it entirely. Lifting the hips, the chest up towards the ceiling. Looking down at the mat, unflipping it, 3-legged dog, lower that leg down, left leg comes up. I'm just gonna shift a little bit, bend through the leg, open through the hips. Swivel that back foot so the toes are pointing more towards the left side of the mat, heels closer to the right side of the mat. Shift forward, bringing the weight more into the right hand as you slowly step the left foot behind you. Reach the left arm overhead. Sorry, left foot behind you, I think I said right. Lift everything up a little bit higher. And then look down at the mat. Unflip your dog, three-legged dog. Lower that leg down. Let's lower to the knees. And we'll take a little camel here. So we're up on the knees, sitting up off the heels. I guess might be a better way of saying it. Hips are stacked over the knees. We're trying to keep them here the entire time. So if you find your hips come back behind your knees at any point in time, just be mindful of and try to correct it. We're just going to do a little half camels here. So you can tuck your toes if you don't want to have to reach as far. Taking the left hand, reaching it back behind for that ankle, and then the right arm can sweep up and around. Again, push the hips forward. So if you're really far back like this, push, 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 push. We're really trying to get a nice rounding here. Lift the sternum up. Unsweep that arm, come all the way up. Inhale here. Exhale. Next inhale, take the right arm, reach back for the right heel. Left arm sweeps around and over. Push the hips forward, lift through the sternum. Slowly unravel. Sit back on your heels. Take a breath. Exhale. We're going to do a little bit more quad stretching and maybe work into the hips a little bit more. So I'm just bringing both legs out in front of me for Dandasana. I'm going to keep the right leg straight and bend up the left leg, bringing my foot close to the hip on this side. We're aiming for a stretch along the front of this bent leg. So same thing when we were standing, we're trying to reach this knee now forward and down towards the mat. That's going to help this with the stretch. Start leaning back with the hands behind you to a point where you feel a stretch. So if you feel a stretch here, then you stay right here. And then you can slowly, again, millimeter by millimeter, work a little bit deeper. If you need more of a stretch, you can come down with the forearms. Maybe you look back, come to the top of the head, and lower all the way down. I find kind of squeezing through my glutes and kind of trying to lift my hips up, I feel even more of a stretch. So wherever you are, again, we're just looking for a stretch here. If you feel that stretch, that's beautiful. Let's take 2 slow breaths here. Eyes can be closed or set your drishti. On the next inhale, you can slowly work your way up. And again, we're always just trying to set our gaze, our drishti, because our eyes can be a huge source of distraction. And since we're trying to work towards, yoga is a moving meditation, by setting our gaze, it'll help still our mind that much more. So I've straightened out my left leg, bent through my right leg, bring the knees as close together as possible or as comfortable in your body. Reach that knee forward and down and hinge back to a point where you feel a nice stretch along the front there. If you need a little bit more, you can work your way back. I like to look back to come to the top of my head and then down onto my shoulders. And again, you can even kind of squeeze through the glutes to try to lift the hips up to get even more of a stretch and sensation. 2 slow breaths here. On the next inhale, coming all the way up. If you're all the way down, you can kind of tuck the head, use the elbows to push yourself up. Slowly coming all the way up. Let's come into a cow face pose here, and we'll just work into the hips and the shoulders. So what we're aiming for with our legs, so I'm crossing up my left leg. That foot is out by my right ankle, crossing my right leg over top. So you can stay right here if this is as far as you can go, or if you can heel toe this foot as much as possible, my mat's coming with me, I'm trying to stack my knees on top of one another so you can kind of see the shape I'm making there. I think you can see it well. So for me, my right leg is on top, so I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to turn again so you can see in the mirror there. I'm going to take my right arm, reach it overhead, and then back and down my spine. I can use my fingers to walk my arm even further down. If your rib cage really flares out like mine did there, just try to hug it in a little bit. And then keep walking, the fingers down. Left arm reaches back behind and then up towards right fingers. If you can touch the fingers, that's great. Avoid clasping. We're not going to clasp here. We want to use just more natural opening here. No torque required for this one. Let's take 2 big breaths here. And you can even hinge forward if you want to feel a little bit more into your hips. Next inhale. Let's release the arms. Now you're more than welcome to sit back on your butt a little bit and switch your legs that way. If you want kind of a fun way to do it, you can watch me first before you try. It's really simple, but it can be kind of hard to, like a little puzzle for the brain sometimes if you haven't done it before. But my feet are staying exactly where they are. The only thing that's going to change is I might come onto like the ball of my feet. But I'm going to reach behind me towards my left side, so away from my top leg. Plant my hands behind me. Swivel on my feet. They're not really moving from their spot all the way around. And then I've got the opposite knee on top. So again, option if you want to try that. Otherwise, just stay seated where you are. Switch the legs. So left leg on top. This time, I'm taking my left arm, reaching it up overhead, and walking the fingers down. If the rib cage really flares out, hug it in. And then the right arm reaches back behind. Shift around, shimmy, wiggle. See if the fingers touch. If they don't, that's not what we're really after anyways. So we just want some opening here. 2 big breaths, and again, you can hinge forward. Inhale. Again, inhale. Next inhale, release the arms. Sit back to release the legs. We're going to come now to lay on our backs. If you're close to a wall, you'll need a little bit of space. So I'm just kind of shifting a little bit closer onto my mat here. But keep the right leg bent, straighten out the left leg, extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. You can flex through the foot or keep it pointed. And then all we're going to do here, you can keep this leg down if you want. We're going to do some core work. So if you want a greater challenge, hover this leg. If you don't want it too difficult, keep this leg down. But wherever you are, we're just going to take, now let's bring our right arm down by our side, and then our left hand is just going to reach for the foot. Reach. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the head down. Take both hands, grab wherever feels comfortable on this lifted leg. So it can be behind the thigh, more up towards the calf or the ankle. And we're just going to gently pull. As we're pulling the leg a little bit closer, we're pushing the leg into the hand. So there's that resistance. Push, push, push as you pull, pull, pull. Just take it really slow and easy. And release. Just for a moment. Do it again. Push the leg into the hands. As the hands pull the leg. Keep pushing and pulling at the same time. And release. And then one final time, but this time we're just going to gently pull. See if you got any more space. You can do little pulses. Again, we're not doing anything crazy here, just little movements. If you can reach, take the 2 peace fingers of your right hand, grab the right toes. If your leg is bent, that's fine as well. And then we're just going to open this leg out to the side. If there's something in there, it's fine. If it gets in the way, like it is for me. Hang out here for one slow breath. Using your core and strength, bring that leg all the way up and release it down. Bending through the left leg and now extending the right leg. The left leg comes up. You can flex through that foot or keep it pointed. Left arm's down by your side. So same thing. We're doing the little core list here. You can keep this leg down, or to make it a little bit more challenging, hover that foot. Let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. That was getting hard to talk. Let's take both hands and grab again somewhere behind this lifted leg. And we're going to push the foot into the hands as we pull with the hands. Opposing force here. Push and pull, and release. Let's do it again. Push and pull, push and pull, push and pull, and release. Last time, we're just gonna pull here and take little pulses. When I say pull, like it's not hard pulling, very gentle. See if you got a little bit more space. Same thing, take your 2 peace fingers of your left hand, bend up the knee if you need to, or taking the 2 peace fingers around that left big toe, and then opening the leg out to the side, putting the right arm wherever feels good for you. Slow breath here. Using your strength all the way up, release that leg down. Let's bend at the legs. We'll finish off with a spinal twist. Lower both knees off to the right side, keeping both shoulder blades in contact with the mat. That way the twist is more in the thoracic spine rather than the lumbar spine. Bring your gaze out past your left arm. Right arm can be out to the other side. Mine's cactus. Do whatever you want with yours. Set your gaze. Keep your mind in the present moment as best as you can. Bring everything up through center, squaring everything off, and then lowering the knees to the other side, shifting your gaze to the other side. Both shoulder blades are in contact with the mat. Your eyes are focused on one point. Come back through center. And we're going to get set up for Shavasana. So you can extend the legs, or if it's too much for your lower back to do that, keep the legs bent wherever you are. Feet are width of the mat. If legs are bent, knees are gently resting against one another. Arms can be down by your side with palms facing up. I prefer coming into a bit of a cactus arm, opening up even more through the chest and the shoulders here. Wherever you choose to be, just closing out your eyes, slowing your breath even more. Noticing how your body feels. Maybe doing a little body scan again, starting at the toes. You can even picture 2 lights, almost like little fireflies, flying around your toes, keeping your awareness there. The lights then circle around your foot, moving its way towards your ankles, circling up your shins, up past your calves, slowly making their way up around your knees, your lower thighs, mid thighs, upper thighs. Here, those lights join forces to encircle your hips, going all the way around up towards your waist, and into your rib cage, your chest, slowly working up towards circling around your shoulders, splitting off, circling around the upper arms, slowly going down towards the elbows. These lights encircle around your upper forearms, your mid forearms, coming all the way down around your wrists, your palms, your thumbs, and the remaining fingers. Circling all the way around to the very tips of your fingers, and then coming to join forces again around the neck, circling up towards the jaw, around the ears, the back of the head, working up towards the mouth, the nose, the eyes, past the eyebrows, the forehead, and circling all the way until they come to the crown of the head and those lights disappear. Taking a bit of a self-guided meditation here. So focusing on your breath or the sounds around you, keeping the eyes closed, keeping everything relaxed. And when your mind inevitably wanders, simply noticing it when you do, free from judgment, and if you happen to judge, then free from judgment of that judgment. Just gently bring the mind back to the present moment. Doing that over and over again as many times as the mind wanders. If the mind has wandered, gently bring it back. We're going to take 5 more slow breaths here. On the next inhale, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Extending out through the legs if they aren't already, reaching the arms up overhead, taking a big good morning stretch. Gently rolling onto one side into a fetal position, where you'll push yourself up into a comfortable seated position, again of your choice. If your eyes aren't already open, you can open them or leave them closed. If they're open, looking down on your mat 2 or 3 feet in front of you again. Taking our 3 final breaths together, let's rest our wrists on our knees, palms facing up, point your fingers and thumbs gently touch, grounding down through the sit bones or whatever is in contact with the mat, and growing up taller out through the crown of the head. Core strong and engaged. Let's inhale through the nose. Full lungs, exhale through the mouth. Let everything go. Inhaling, and you shrug your shoulders up. Exhale. Let it all go. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Bringing the hands through to heart center, pressing the thumbs against the chest for a brief moment. Feeling our hearts beating and working for us. Gently curling up the outer edges of our mouths, bringing an ever so slight smile onto our faces. Thanking ourselves for making this time for ourselves, and being grateful for everything else we have in our lives to be grateful for. Honoring this moment of peace and calmness and relative stillness. And in closing, we say, Namaste.